She smiled while handing me the drink. My dog knew something was wrong. Welcome, this is Voice of Deborah and I tell true life stories. I'm 47 years old, and I thought I knew my son better than anyone in this world. I was wrong. My name is Agnes Hayes, and what I'm about to tell you will sound impossible. You'll think I'm exaggerating or that I misunderstood what happened. But every word of this is true, and it still keeps me awake at night. The woman who tried to kill me married into my family 3 years ago. I welcomed her with open arms. I threw her a bridal shower. I called her daughter. And she handed me a drink with enough antifreeze in it to stop my heart. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start at the beginning because the devil was always in the details. I just wasn't paying attention. Started 6 months ago in April. My husband Richard had been gone for 3 years. A heart attack at 52, sudden and brutal. My son Michael, my only child, had gotten married to Vanessa 2 months before Richard died. At the time, I thought she was a blessing, someone to help Michael through his grief to start a new chapter. She seemed sweet, attentive, always asking how I was doing. Looking back, she was always asking too many questions. After Richard died, Michael wanted Vanessa and me to be close. "You're the 2 most important women in my life, Mom," he'd say. So when they started having marriage problems last year, and Vanessa asked if she could stay with me for a while to get some space, I didn't hesitate. But I should have. Michael was traveling constantly for work. He's a civil engineer, always on job sites across the state. Vanessa was a pharmaceutical sales rep, but she'd recently been let go. Budget cuts, she said. She needed time to find something new, and Michael thought staying with me would be good for both of us. 2 women alone, keeping each other company. She moved into the guest room in March. That's when the small things began. Things I brushed off. Things I told myself were nothing. But they weren't nothing. Vanessa started asking about my finances. Casual questions at first. How much was the house worth? Did I have a good life insurance policy? What about Richard's pension benefits? I told myself she was just making conversation. Maybe she was worried about her own future with Michael. Then came the paperwork. One evening in late May, Vanessa came into the living room with a stack of documents. Her smile was bright, helpful. "Agnes, I was thinking about your estate planning. Michael mentioned you haven't updated anything since Richard passed. I found this lawyer online who does simple wills cheap. You know, just to make sure Michael's taken care of if anything happens." My golden retriever, Bailey, had been lying at my feet. The moment Vanessa sat down next to me, he stood up and positioned himself between us. A low growl rumbled in his chest. "Bailey, stop that," I scolded. He never growled. Not at anyone. Vanessa laughed, but it sounded hollow. "He's been acting strange around me lately. Maybe he senses I'm stressed. I should have listened to him. I should have known animals sense things we can't." The documents Vanessa brought looked legitimate. Just sign here, here, and here. Michael would be the sole beneficiary, of course. He was my only child. The house, my savings, the small life insurance policy Richard had left. It all made sense. But something made me pause. "Let me read through this first," I said. "I'll sign it tomorrow." Vanessa's smile tightened. "Just for a second." "Sure, Agnes. No rush. But Michael really wanted me to help you get this sorted. He worries about you, you know. Using my son's love as leverage." I didn't see it then. But there was rush. I felt it in the air between us. Bailey didn't leave my side the rest of that night. I took the papers to my friend Linda, who worked as a paralegal. We met for coffee on a Tuesday morning, and I watched her face change as she read through the documents. "Agnes," she said slowly, "this isn't just a will. This is a power of attorney. Durable one. If you sign this, whoever's named here can make all your medical and financial decisions. They could sell your house, drain your accounts, commit you to a facility if they wanted to." My coffee went cold in my hands. "That can't be right," I whispered. "She said it was just a simple will to protect Michael." Linda flipped to the second page. "Michael isn't even named as the power of attorney. Vanessa is. She'd have complete control. And that's when my world started cracking. Why would she? I couldn't finish the sentence. Linda looked at me with something like pity. I don't know. But this is fraud, Agnes. She lied to you. I went home that day with my mind spinning. Why would Vanessa do this? Michael made good money. They weren't struggling. What did she need from me so desperately? I wasn't rich, but the house was paid off, and I had about $180,000 in savings and investments. Richard's life insurance had left me comfortable. Was that what this was about? Money. That night I pretended everything was normal. I made dinner, pot roast, one of Michael's favorites that Vanessa claimed to love. She chatted about job applications she'd submitted, about a friend's drama, about a sale at Nordstrom. She seemed so normal. So much like the daughter-in-law who'd cried at Richard's funeral. Agnes, she said casually, setting down her fork, did you get a chance to look at those papers? Still reading through them, I lied. Legal stuff gives me a headache. Another flash of something in her eyes. Irritation. Anger. Well, don't take too long. The lawyer said there's a deadline for the discount. There was no deadline. Linda had checked. That lawyer didn't even exist. The number on the letterhead went to a disconnected line. My daughter-in-law was running a con on me. Bailey growled again from under the table. I started watching after that. Really watching. I noticed Vanessa spent hours on her phone, always tilting the screen away from me. She'd take calls outside, even in the rain. Twice I heard her arguing with someone in hushed, angry tones. When I asked who it was, she'd say nobody, or just someone from my old job. I also noticed she was going through Michael's and my mail. I caught her once, and she laughed it off. Just organizing things for you, Agnes. You've got so much clutter. But my bank statements had been opened. My investment portfolio summary was on the kitchen counter when I'd left it in my bedroom drawer. She was cataloging my assets. Then came the night I couldn't sleep. It was mid-June, humid and sticky. I got up around 2 a.m. for some water and heard Vanessa's voice from the guest room. The door was cracked open. I told you I'm working on it, she hissed into her phone. The old woman's suspicious now. The dog keeps. I don't know, it's like he knows. No, I can't just wait. They're going to come after me if I don't pay. I know what I owe. I know. Michael doesn't know anything. He's clueless. His mother's the one with the money anyway. My blood turned to ice. Who was coming after her? And why did she call me the old woman? I crept back to my room, my heart hammering. I couldn't confront her, not yet. I needed to know what I was dealing with. And I couldn't tell Michael, not without proof. He was so in love with her. He'd never believe his wife was capable of this. The next morning, while Vanessa was at the gym, I did something I never thought I'd do. I went through her room. What I found made me sick. Credit card bills stuffed in her designer handbag. Tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Collections notices forwarded from an address I didn't recognize. And text messages on an old phone she'd left charging on the nightstand. Messages from a number saved as D that made my stomach turn. You're 2 months behind. My boss isn't patient. $45K or you know what happens. Vanessa's response. I'll have it soon. Promise. The mother-in-law has money. Then get it. You've got until July or we start taking body parts. Not joking. $45,000. Loan sharks. My daughter-in-law was in deep with dangerous people, and she'd decided I was her way out. By making me disappear. There were other messages too. Messages to someone named Tyler. Flirty, explicit messages. She was having an affair. While living under my roof, while married to my son, she was sleeping with someone else and planning to steal from me. Or worse. I started sleeping with my bedroom door locked after that. Bailey slept on my bed now, and I didn't argue. I thought about going to the police, but what would I say? My daughter-in-law asked me to sign papers. She has debt. She's cheating on my son. None of it was enough. Not yet. I thought about telling Michael, but he was in Colorado on a 6-week project. And what would I tell him over the phone? That his wife was planning something terrible. He'd think I was jealous, trying to sabotage his marriage. I needed proof of what Vanessa was really planning. Then came July 3rd. The night that changed everything. Vanessa had been unusually cheerful all day. She made lunch, cleaned the kitchen without being asked, even suggested we watch a movie together that evening. Her mood felt forced, theatrical. Bailey wouldn't even enter the living room while she was there. "I'll make us something special to drink," Vanessa said around 8 p.m. "You relax, Agnes. You've seemed so stressed lately." She disappeared into the kitchen. I heard the refrigerator open, glasses clinking, the blender running. When she emerged, she had 2 tall glasses of what looked like a strawberry smoothie. She handed me one, her smile wide and bright. "I made your favorite," she said. "Strawberry banana. I know you love these." I'd never told her I like strawberry banana smoothies. Bailey went insane. He lunged forward and knocked the glass out of my hand before I could take a sip. The pink liquid splashed across the hardwood floor, the glass shattering. Bailey stood over the puddle, barking ferociously, hackles raised. Vanessa's face went white, then red. "What the hell, Bailey?" "Agnes, I'm so sorry. Damn dog." But I saw it. The panic in her eyes. "I'll make you another one," she said quickly. Too quickly. "No," I said, my voice strange in my own ears. "I'm not thirsty anymore." Vanessa just stared at me. For a long moment, neither of us moved. Then she forced a laugh. "Okay, well, more for me then." She picked up her own glass and took a long drink. But I noticed, she'd already been drinking from hers in the kitchen. She knew which glass was which. She knew which one was poisoned. I excused myself to my room, locked the door and called Linda. "I think Vanessa just tried to kill me," I whispered. Linda came over the next morning while Vanessa was out. She brought her boyfriend, Marcus, who was a cop. We collected the smoothie residue from the floor in a plastic bag. Marcus took it to a friend in forensics as a personal favor. The results came back in 3 days. Ethylene glycol. Antifreeze. Enough to cause kidney failure and death within 24 to 48 hours. It's sweet, so it masks well in fruit smoothies. And it's almost impossible to detect until it's too late. My daughter-in-law had tried to murder me. Marcus wanted to arrest her immediately, but I stopped him. "I need to call my son first. He needs to know before this explodes." I called Michael in Colorado. What followed was the hardest conversation of my life. "Mom, that's insane. Vanessa wouldn't, she loves you. She's been taking care of you." "Michael, there's antifreeze in the smoothie she made me. The police tested it." Silence. Long, terrible silence. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe some chemical from under the sink got into. "She's having an affair, Michael. She owes loan sharks $45,000. She tried to get me to sign over power of attorney to her. Not you." I heard my son break over the phone. "I'm coming home," he said finally. "Don't do anything until I get there. Please, Mom." But Marcus convinced me we couldn't wait. Vanessa was dangerous. She'd tried once, she'd try again. We set up a plan. I'd wear a wire. I'd confront Vanessa, get her confession on tape. Michael would be there, hidden, listening. It was the only way he'd ever believe what his wife had become. On July 10th, Michael came home. We staged it so Vanessa thought he was still in Colorado. That evening I made my move. Vanessa was in the kitchen making dinner when I walked in and set the power of attorney papers on the counter. "I know what these really are," I said quietly. She froze, her back to me. When she turned around, her face was a mask. "What are you talking about, Agnes? I know about the debt. I know about Dee and the loan sharks. I know about Tyler. And I know you tried to poison me." The mask shattered. Vanessa's face twisted into something ugly. "You went through my things. You had no right. You tried to kill me. I needed that money." She was screaming now, her voice raw. "They were going to kill me, Agnes. Kill me. What was I supposed to do? Tell Michael. Ask for help. Not murder your husband's mother. She laughed, a bitter, ugly sound. Michael. Michael can barely cover our rent on that condo we keep for appearances. You think his salary helps? His father left you everything. You're sitting on almost 200,000 while I'm about to get my fingers cut off. So you decided to murder me? Tears streamed down Vanessa's face, but her eyes were cold. You're old. You're going to die in the next 10-20 years anyway. Richard died at 52, heart problems run in your family. I was going to make it look natural. An old woman with a weak heart having kidney failure. No one would have questioned it. And Michael would have inherited everything. We would have gotten everything. You'd have spent my son's inheritance paying off your gambling debts and your boyfriend. Vanessa's face went slack. You don't know anything about Tyler. I know enough. She stepped forward, her voice dropping to something dangerous. Are you recording this, Agnes? My heart stopped. Her eyes dropped to my collar. In one swift movement, she grabbed my shirt and ripped it open. There it was, the small microphone taped to my chest. You bitch! Vanessa shrieked. The back door burst open. Marcus and 2 other officers rushed in, weapons drawn. Vanessa Hayes, you're under arrest for attempted murder. And then Michael stepped out from the hallway. The look on Vanessa's face. Pure shock, then devastation. Michael, she whispered. Baby, I can explain. Don't, he said, his voice dead. Don't call me that. Don't talk to me. They were going to kill me. I did this for us. Michael's laugh was hollow. You tried to murder my mother for us? You're insane. Vanessa lunged toward him, but the officers caught her. Michael, please. I love you. I love you. You don't know what love is, he said. They took her away in handcuffs, screaming, crying, begging. I stood in my kitchen, shaking, while Linda held me up and Michael stood frozen, staring at the space where his wife had been. Bailey pressed against my legs, whining softly. The investigation uncovered everything. Vanessa had been gambling. Online poker, sports betting, trips to underground casinos in the city. She'd started before she even met Michael. The pharmaceutical job had been a lie from the beginning. She'd been fired 3 years ago for stealing samples and selling them. Her entire relationship with my son had been calculated. She'd met him at a charity event, learned his mother was a widow with assets, and set her sights on our family. She'd married Michael to get to me. The affair with Tyler. He was one of the loan sharks. She'd been sleeping with him to buy time. He was arrested along with 3 others in his organization. When her debts spiraled out of control, she'd decided I was worth more dead than alive. Trial lasted 4 months. Vanessa pleaded guilty to attempted murder in exchange for a reduced sentence, 15 years with possibility of parole after 10. In her statement, she claimed she'd never actually planned to kill me, that she was just exploring options and got desperate. The antifreeze in my smoothie said otherwise. Michael divorced her immediately. He's been staying with me since, trying to rebuild, trying to understand how he missed every red flag. He blames himself. I tell him it's not his fault. Vanessa was a master manipulator. But I see the guilt in his eyes every day. I attended every day of her sentencing hearing. She never looked at me. Never looked at Michael. Just kept her eyes down, crying softly. But they were crocodile tears. I knew that now. The prosecutor asked if I wanted to speak. I stood up, my legs shaking, and looked at the woman who'd called me Mom at Thanksgiving. You came into my family, I said, my voice steady. You pretended to love my son. You sat at my table. And you tried to murder me for money you didn't earn, to pay debts from a life of lies. Vanessa finally met my eyes. There was nothing there. No remorse. No shame. Just cold calculation, wondering where she went wrong. I hope those 15 years teach you what family actually means, I said. It's been 4 months since Vanessa went to prison. Michael moved back home temporarily, and we're healing together. Slowly. The house feels different now. Every corner holds a memory of Vanessa's deception. The guest room where she slept. The kitchen where she made that poison drink. The living room where she smiled and called me Mom. Michael is in therapy. Am I? Some wounds don't heal quickly. Bailey saved my life. The veterinarian told me dogs can smell chemical compounds humans can't detect. He smelled the antifreeze in that smoothie and acted on pure instinct. I feed him steak now whenever he wants it. He earned it. People ask me if I'll ever forgive Vanessa. If I feel sorry for her, trapped in whatever desperate circumstances led her down this path. Honestly, she made choices. Every step of the way, she chose deception, manipulation, and ultimately murder. She chose to see me as an obstacle instead of family. Michael asked me once if I'd suspected anything before the paperwork. I told him about the small things, the invasive questions, Bailey's reactions, the strange phone calls. He cried. I brought her into your life, Mom. I'm so sorry. But he didn't know. None of us did. That's what makes people like Vanessa so dangerous. They wear the right masks. They say the right things. They wait for the perfect moment. And then they strike. I've learned things I wish I didn't know. I've learned that family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who marry in. And sometimes those people are predators. I've learned that a smile can hide poison. That I love you can be a lie. That trust is earned, not given freely just because someone wears a wedding ring. I've learned to trust my instincts. And to trust my dog. If there's anything I want you to take from this, it's this. Pay attention to the small things. The questions that feel too invasive. The behavior that doesn't quite match the words. The animals that react with fear or aggression to someone they should trust. Those red flags aren't paranoia. They're warnings. Listen to them. When someone who's only been in your family a short time suddenly takes deep interest in your finances, your health, your estate planning. Question it. When your gut tells you something's wrong, even if you can't explain it, trust it. And if someone hands you a drink while smiling just a little too wide, while your dog is losing his mind trying to protect you, don't drink it. Vanessa's parole hearing is in 9 years. They've asked if I'll testify for or against her release. Michael says he'll testify against her, absolutely. Me. I have 9 years to decide if I can look at her again. 9 years to figure out if there's any humanity left in the woman who tried to kill me. I don't think there is. But I'm alive to make that choice. And I have Bailey to thank for that. If this story resonated with you, if it made you think twice about the people you trust, I hope you'll share it. Subscribe so you don't miss stories like this. Real experiences from real people who survived the unthinkable. And please talk to your family. Have the hard conversations. Watch for the warning signs. Because the alternative might be a glass of poison smoothie and a smile you'll never forget. I'm Agnes Hayes. And I survived my daughter-in-law. Michael and I are rebuilding our lives. And we're never drinking smoothies again.